Hi everyone, Richard Robbins here. Well, the numbers are in from the Edmonton Real Estate Board, and I'm telling you, based on what's going on in Toronto and Vancouver, you should be very happy, okay? So let me talk to you about this, and I'll tell you a little bit of what's going on there as well. Your sales are off a little bit, there's no question. Your inventory is up. We got a new graphic for you, okay? So hopefully this is helpful. If we look at 2017, in September you did 1,341 sales. We did 1,225. Our sales are down by 8%. Now, let's look at active listings. You can see we had 8,300, and of course this year we had 8,969 at the end of September. So if you take your sales, divide them into your active listings, and that gives you your months of inventory. So you can obviously see if our active listings are up by 7%, our sales are down by 8%, months of inventory is going to rise. You can see 2017 September, we had 6.3 months of inventory. We're now up to 7.3. So again, a balanced market is 4 to 6, okay? Below 4 is going to be a seller's market. Above 6 is going to be a buyer's market. So you can see that right now in Edmonton, generally speaking, you have moved in to a buyer's market. Let's look at what's been going on so far this year. If you look at last year, 2017, from January to September, you did about 13,000 sales. Now, you can see this year we've done 12,641. So basically we're off by about 400 sales, or we're down by 3.3%. Now let's put that in perspective. We've had 4 rate bumps in the last 18 months. You look at Toronto, Vancouver, they have foreign buyer tax. You had stress testing that went in January that affected all of Canada. Get this, Toronto so far this year is down by 18% in sales, okay? Vancouver is down by 30%. You're down by 3.3. Your market is doing just fine. You're in a very good market to be working right now. But again, if we put this in perspective, that's roughly, say, just over 600 sales. But 600 sales translates to 1,200 ends, doesn't it? Because there's 2 ends per sale. So no matter how we cut it, the pie used to be this big. The pie's a little bit smaller right now, which means you've got to take a larger piece of the pie to do the same as last year or more than last year, which means you've got to get better at what it is you're doing. More marketing, more prospecting, right? Better at lead conversion and follow-up, better at pricing properties so your listings are selling, better at conversations with buyers and motivating them to get out there, because chances are we're going to have another rate increase this year. So if we keep moving forward, I created this graphic, and I'm hoping you might create it for yourself, use it in your listing presentations working with buyers. But if you look at the gray is 2017. This is your months of inventory. So we started relatively high, 2017, kept going along, and we ended up at 6.3. But you can see through this area here, you're more into actually a seller's market depending on the property type. But you can obviously see 2017 or 2018, it's been higher the whole year. Now remember, stress testing took place in January, right? So you can see that what's happened is our months of inventory went down, but then they've started to creep up, and they went quite a bit up in September right here. Let's look at your micro markets. Or I should say January to September. I'm ahead of myself. We don't have micro markets. January, September, this is what's been going on. January, we did more sales, okay, this year than last year. And then you can see we started to do less, a little bit more in April, less here, about the same, a little bit more, and we're off a little bit here. But overall, your market isn't far off what it was all of last year. Here's your active listings. We started this year with more active listings, more. So you can see all the way along. The challenge is our sales haven't been that far off. Our active listings are increasing, okay, substantially, and that's what caused your months of inventory to rise. So the way I look at it right now is I would say detached properties, especially inexpensive detached, is probably still more towards a seller's market in there. But when you get into condos in Edmonton, they're probably more of a buyer's market. High-end detached, probably more end of a buyer's market, because understand that months of inventory changes based on property type or geographical area. So what you should be doing is studying your market, understand your market, know the months of inventory in, a sector that you work, or say you're going on a listing presentation, you want to know what's going on so you can have now a valuable conversation with people to help them make the right decision. Help your buyers and help your sellers trip over what I call the truth. Give them all the information they need so they understand the truth, and that way they can make better decisions. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Remember, everybody, it's a beautiful life. Make it count.